Hi everyone. I'm recording this as a kind of emergency episode. There has now been a second shooting in the state of Minnesota where an American citizen is now dead at the hands of an ICE agent. So this is now the second time within a matter of weeks that this has happened. So I wasn't planning on doing an episode today. My hair is kind of a mess. I kind of threw this all together at the last minute. But this one is for my conservative friends and family specifically. And I promise I'm not here to lecture anyone or blame anyone or say I told you so. I have a very simple request. I need you to speak up against these killings in any way that is appropriate for you, but I need you to do something. I need you to demand accountability for ICE. And I think that these requests are simple, and I think that they are also aligned with your values. And I'm saying this as someone who was raised in conservative values. So I have no problem, even though I am now notoriously a liberal Democrat, I have no problem calling upon the values that I was raised in to perhaps remind people of the values that they have professed in the not so distant past. So I am here to make, again, what I think is a very fair and reasonable ask of you, my conservative friends and family, to put your conservative values into action. Things like limited government, individual liberty, and the rule of law, the sacred protection of American lives, and for the love of God, the Constitution. I stand before you today not as a critic of borders or laws. You can believe in lawfully enforcing the law. And we know that that's not happening in Minnesota right now. ICE is breaking the law. They are breaking the Constitution. They are doing it every day. And we know that this didn't start in Minnesota. I did a full episode on ICE over the summer. So I talked already a bit about things like how they've been ignoring due process. So I'm not going to get into everything that's led up to this point because I've already spoken about it pretty extensively. And if you missed that episode, you can go watch that episode. But I'm talking about right now, and I'm talking about Minnesota. 2 American citizens are dead at the hands of ICE, shot in broad daylight with multiple rounds. So here's my offer to all of you. You can believe in strong borders. You can believe in enforcing immigration laws to protect our sovereignty and our communities, but can we at least agree that when ICE agents are taking the lives of American citizens in the line of duty without justification, and it is without justification, you can look at the videos yourself, and without any accountability, that's not law enforcement. That is not law enforcement. That is tyranny. And it has no place in a conservative vision for America. Conservatism is rooted in the Constitution, in the Bill of Rights that safeguards every citizen from federal overreach. The Fourth Amendment protects us from unreasonable searches and seizures. They can't go door to door. The Fifth Amendment gives us due process. The Second Amendment allows us to defend ourselves. And we've seen in recent incidents in Minnesota and across the nation, operations that turn deadly for U.S. citizens who are exercising their constitutional rights to freedom of speech and the right to carry arms. We had a mother who was gunned down, and later the authorities ruled it a homicide. And then today, we had a man who was tackled to the ground. He was outnumbered. Right? These are not the actions of peacekeepers. These are the hallmarks of an unchecked federal bureaucracy run amok. Conservatives have long warned against these exact dangers from big government. And now the Department of Homeland Security, which is flush with billions of taxpayer dollars, your money and my money, we're now funding these operations that blur the lines between protecting American citizens and terrorizing them. When agents kill Americans without transparent investigations, without consequences, we're not securing the nation. We are eroding the very trust in government that conservatives have long fought to restore. We talk about fiscal responsibility. Where is the responsibility? Where is the personal responsibility in these botched raids and these terrorizations of protesters, these threats against them? The cost of this is going to be huge, not just the moral and ethical cost, but there's also going to be lawsuits. This is going to cost all of us. And let's talk about family values. These victims are not faceless statistics. These are people's neighbors. These are parents. These are pillars of the community. They're not going after hardened criminals here. And it creates an environment of fear, not fear for the violent criminals, fear of the agents that are supposed to be protecting them. We have federal agents that are acting like an occupying army in people's backyards. Look, I'm not asking you to go out there and shout defund ICE or abolish ICE or open borders. I'm asking you to call for accountability. I'm asking you to tell these agencies to go after the threats that they said that they were going to go after, violent gangs and human traffickers. I want you to demand body cameras. I want you to demand independent oversight, not internal whitewashes and spin. I want you to advocate for training that focuses on de-escalation. And yeah, I would like us to prosecute agents who have crossed the line, just like we would for anybody else. That's not weakness. That is strength. That is the strength of a nation that holds its government to the same standards it demands of its people. So I'm asking you to speak up. And I realize that not all of you can speak up on social media. I realize that you might have jobs where you're not allowed to do that, but you can call your representatives, you can call your senators, especially the ones who are the Republicans. Tell them to grow a spine. Tell them to stand up for we the people instead of this administration and whatever it is that they've got going on over there. Tell them that if they stand up and demand these very reasonable things, that you will have their back. Write letters. Find a way to do something. Say something, do something to make it right. That's all I'm asking you to do. And I know that it's hard. I know that it's hard to stand up to your own side. I do it all the time. It is difficult. You're going to probably get somebody from the left coming in with, well, I told you so, or some kind of obnoxious comment. Do it anyway. Please. Please do it. This is the time for you to show that you actually believe in the values that you say you do. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. I hope that you are able to find the courage to do something about this. It is going to get worse, unfortunately, unless we tell our leaders that this is unacceptable as a status quo. Thank you.